who was a special counsel investigating Biden mishandling of classified documents, will testify at a House hearing. Republican Congressman Jim Jordan will lead the questioning.
Did Joe Biden keep and share classified information? And the answer to that question is a resounding yes. Yes, he did.
Fox has obtained Her's opening statement saying they did have recordings of Joe Biden after he was vice president, admitting he had classified records. But Her will tell lawmakers it was not evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. And Her also says Biden's poor memory was an issue in their investigation. Jordan tells Fox.
He also said that he couldn't remember when he was elected vice president, how long he served as vice president during the interview that they had over a 2-day time period.
The polls are just opening in Mississippi now, one of 4 states holding contests that could set up the Trump-Biden rematch.
This comes down to the delegate math. President Biden, he needs 102 more to lock up the Democratic renomination. Former President Trump, he needs 137 more to become the Republican presumptive nominee.
So Fox's Madeline Rivera says they both could clinch today. House lawmakers will get a classified TikTok security briefing ahead of a vote tomorrow that could ban the social media app if TikTok doesn't separate itself from its communist Chinese parent company. Republican Congressman Kat Kamak tells Fox.
I wouldn't want my government having unfettered access to my data or big tech. So why the heck would I allow the CCP to?
Gangs that have overrun Haiti have forced a change. The prime minister is stepping down.
Some experts are calling it a low-scale civil war. The outlaw groups have even stopped Prime Minister Ariel Henry from returning home from Puerto Rico, where he's stranded. Henry says he and his government will resign once a transitional council is in place.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. The U.S. is sending additional military and humanitarian aid to Haiti. And a ship loaded with almost 200 tons of food is now going to Gaza, where the Israel-Hamas wars left Palestinian civilians in dire need. America's listening to Fox News.
Federal authorities are now pressuring banks to spy on the transactions of conservatives. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and this is yet another reason why you need a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To learn more, text the word SHELTER to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs. Secure your IRA or 401k right now. Text SHELTER to 989898 to request your free info kit right now.
Message and data rates may apply.
Paid for by Birch Gold Group.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Well, House Republicans focus on President Biden's memory and mishandling of classified documents at that hearing today with former special counsel Robert Hur, who investigated. The president will be focusing on Ukraine and NATO at the White House.
Both President Andrzej Duda and Prime Minister Donald Tusk sat down with President Biden today, marking the 25th anniversary of Poland's membership in NATO. But the meeting also comes as lawmakers here in the U.S. are deadlocked on providing more military aid to Ukraine. Poland has boosted its own defense spending and is urging other NATO members to do the same, well above the current spending levels of several member nations. Duda and Tusk are expected to call for a larger military presence in Poland and along NATO's eastern flank. President Biden told reporters Monday there's no need for more troops on the Polish border. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Eric Carmen, who had some hit songs many of us grew up listening to, has died.
Carmen's early success came as the frontman of pop rock band The Raspberries, and then found success as a solo artist, reeling off a string of hits in the 70s and 80s, like All By Myself, Make Me Lose Control, and Hungry Eyes, which appeared on the 1987 Dirty Dancing soundtrack. Carmen's wife Amy posting news of the singer's death on his official website, writing in part, "Our sweet, loving, and talented Eric passed away in his sleep over the weekend. It brought him great joy to know that for decades his music touched so many and will be his lasting legacy." No cause of death or exact date of Carmen's death has been given. Eric Carmen was 74. Ted Linder, Fox News.
We will get an inflation update in less than a half hour. The Consumer Price Index, gauging what we pay for all kinds of things. The annual rate will be watched closely, and economists predict no decline last month, the same as January, rising 3.1%. On Wall Street, ahead of that report, stock futures are mixed. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Well, what is
is the United Way ECL program. Ann Skuse has an excuse to be on. How are you, Ann?
I'm doing well. Thank you all so much for having me this morning.
Well, happy to represent the United Way on the radio with you, Ann. Tell me what you're doing with the ECL program.
Yeah, so this program is so grateful to be part of this community and to welcome many young professionals from an array of organizations that we work with through the year. This year we'll be reaching our over 800 alumni total, so we're pretty excited.
Most of these people that are participating in the program that you're looking for nominees are under 40, perhaps, Ann?
That's right. We don't really put a strict age limit or range on it, but the goal is to include young professionals, so those kind of finding their way in the community and in their professional roles. So it's more about where they are than really the time marker itself, but that's usually the age range.
It's a 100th year anniversary, right? This is
that's right.
A big year
it's been
for
a
United
pretty exciting year, definitely. We had a wonderful United for a Century campaign to celebrate the 100th in support of our endowment and impact initiatives. But we want to make sure that we're keep going for the next 100 years, and the ECLs, the Emerging Community Leaders, are a great way to ensure that we continue to inspire people coming up into our community and keep moving forward.
While we're talking United Way, I know the Power of the Purse is something that I've attended before. That will be coming up on May 2nd, Ann?
That's right. We are so excited. It's our 10th Power of the Purse to be hosted at the lovely Pear Tree Estate, and we couldn't be more excited. We've gotten wonderful purse donations coming in already, and let's just say it's going to be quite an exciting event. If you've ever been there before, this one's going to just really blow the roof off. So don't miss your chance to connect with us. You can contact the United Way office if you're interested in any further information about that.
UnitedWayChampaign.org is the website, correct?
That's correct. That's the best way to find us.
Okay, so there's other great programs too, and I feel like in the spring we spotlight a lot of great different projects. Bottom Line Diaper Bank, for instance.
That's right. We manage the Bottom Line Diaper Bank throughout the year. We're at an average of distributing over 12,000 diapers per month, and that's through 12 different partner programs in the community. So it's really an ongoing initiative for us. In the summer months, we get the opportunity to do a lot of outreach chances for people to come into the office and do repacks. That's the best way that we can distribute the diapers. And we also have sponsorship opportunities to ensure that we have the diapers available to make sure those distributions happen. So it's really something that's so needed and just continues to grow, not because we're meeting the need, but because it's something that's always a necessity for families, of course.
Another hidden resource, a hidden gem resource, is that 211 helpline.
Yes, we're so grateful to really have this available in our community. It is a nationwide helpline that was started in Atlanta, but through the support of the United Way worldwide, throughout the country, and now the state of Illinois is also coming in with funding, but it's through the United Way. And anytime a person is in need for health services, that they can dial 211. That's a 24/7 line, and they'll be directed to a person who will answer the call that can direct them to a local organization that will be able to assist them with their needs. So it's something that's really valuable, that is available in our community.
All right. So our deadline Friday, March 15th for the emerging community leaders that you may know. How do we nominate these leaders to get them involved in the United Way?
Yes, that's a great question. So it's actually self-initiated. So if you as a young person are interested in participating in the program, please go to our website, which Diane mentioned, UnitedWayChampaign.org. Click on the tab to join ECL, and you actually apply. A letter of recommendation is required to complete the application. But we actually were able to extend that deadline to next Friday, March 15th, so that we can ensure that anyone who's interested still has the chance to apply.
All right, Ann, thanks for being on. Good luck with all this.
My pleasure. Thank you all so much. Have a great day.
Take care.
Ann Skuse with the United Way.
UnitedWayChampaign.org.
All right, ESPN 93.5.
All right. I am Diane Ducey, and the temperature is at 40. It's a beautiful day. Checking in with our meteorologist, Greg Soye, with a high of 71 expected today. And then 70 to 46, the temperature range tomorrow, up to 72 with a 70% chance of showers is the forecast for Thursday. So when it comes to the weather, it's awesome. And here at the radio station, ESPN 93.5 WSJK, we are having some technical difficulties, but we're moving on with some pre-recorded shows and interviews that Stevie has done in the past.
She's kind of known worldwide, healthy living expert, well, one of the Buns of Steel stars, Lisa Hart. How are you?
I am up and at 'em. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I was reading about the history. Now, we have a lot of 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds listening and going, Buns of Steel, what is that? How would you describe Buns of Steel?
Well, they're strong, they're perky. Oh, no, let's see. Now, not everybody recognizes the name Buns of Steel. So when I am in those audiences with the youngins, sometimes it's like, well, your mom may have done these workouts.
Yeah, right.
But everybody recognizes the name Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
So Buns of Steel is a Warner Brothers production, and they are exercise videos that were really, really popular back in the day and are still thriving today, but they are just tried and true exercises to tone your body, not just your buns.
You competed. You got like a first runner-up, and then somebody from Warner called you. And had it been a man calling, it was a woman, had it been a man, you'd have hung up on him because Buns of Steel. What? Hang up.
Yeah. So Melissa Berman McNeese called me, and luckily it was her saying, we need you to send an audition tape of you exercising. So, of course, if a guy said that, I would have been, calling the police or something.
Yeah, right, exactly. And so you got into this thing. You were the lead instructor. It sold 6 million copies, Lisa.
Yes. I was on the right channel at the right time, and this forever changed the shape of my life. And I'm in my mid-50s now, and this is something that I still embrace, and it still is bringing me so many blessings in my life and in my career.
Well, I got Diane Ducey. She's on with me every morning, and I've been trying to get her to get exercising.
Right.
What kind of motivation can you tell Diane and people to say, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with just a single step? How do you motivate them, Lisa? Because that's what you do. You motivate people.
That is what I'm all about, inspiring and sharing. And oftentimes when people think of me, a fitness expert, they think that, oh, she must be a gym rat. And, well, she's going to tell me I've got to exercise really, really hard, or that I have to get up really, really early in the morning. Au contraire, none of these things are true. I am not a gym rat myself. My favorite thing to do is walk. And so my message is we need to breathe better, breathe more deeply, take in everything that life has to offer, and we need to simply move. We need to simply get off our bum. And even starting from, are you sitting at your desk all day at work? Well, we've got to bring home the bacon. We've got to turn on the light, pay the light bill. But if you can get a standing desk, get a standing desk. If not, just stand up and do your work sometimes. Bring your laptop over to the bar counter or something. Move around more. Of course, take the stairs instead of the elevator. Mm-hmm. But, we just need to move more and think more like a child. Just laugh more, enjoy more, breathe more, worry less.
Lisa, I like what you're saying about breathing, too. When it comes to our breathing techniques, how do we improve that?
I love that. This is something I've been a huge advocate of my entire career, is that somewhere along the way, after we were a little baby, and you watch that baby sleeping in the bed, and you see their belly expand, their heart swells, and then it sinks, somewhere along the way, we didn't think it was polite or something, that we breathe in, and oftentimes people will squeeze their belly in. Well, then your lungs went, help! Mm-hmm. So we need to breathe like a baby and let the belly and the ribs expand, to let the room for the lungs to expand and take all the oxygen in, So the belly and the ribs should be expanding on the inhale, and then slightly relaxing and sinking on the exhale to give those, it's scientific.
Yeah.
give those lungs room to breathe and bring in more of the oxygen that your body and your brain needs.
Well, Lisa, being the Buns of Steel star and everybody sees you and you're out and around, what kind of pressure do you feel now to say, I gotta look good? The paparazzi take glee in if you got really fat. So, it just, how do you do with the pressure? Because there's got to be people, people look at you.
Well, they do, and luckily I'm a ham, and so I welcome it. I love it. But one of the gifts that I was given several years ago was that I was, in my early 40s, I'm in my mid-50s now, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. And so I needed to make some dietary changes so that now I am completely drug-free, but I needed to make some dietary changes to reduce the inflammation.
Wow.
And so my nutrition is so lean and clean, and I don't have to work out really hard. And some people might go, well, it's just because, you're born that way or whatever. No, I'm not. There are members in my very large family that are very overweight, and we came from, same blood. But it's, for me, it's about just moving to feel better in my body. And yes, I do feel the pressure. But people listening might be thinking right now, oh, I bet she works out really hard and she's probably just not even eating or anything. No, I am a chow hound, but I eat really lean and clean, lots of protein and lots of, all of the colors that we're given in our fruits and vegetables. The more colorful your plate can be, the better it is for you. And for me, that walk out with my dog is wonderful. And some people get frustrated when their dogs are stopping to sniff. Stop and sniff. Well, God, they're stopping. You know what I do when they stop to sniff? I do standing squats. And I don't care if anybody's watching. That's
awesome. It's Lisa, L-E-I-S-A, Lisa Hart, healthy living expert, one of the original Buns of Steel hosts, still walking, staying in shape. Sometime I want to talk to you about what you ate to get off drugs from rheumatoid. That's kind of cool, too. Mm-hmm. You just changed everything, got off the stuff, because you don't want to stay on the stuff if you don't have to.
Exactly.
How can people connect with you?
Well, thank you for spelling my name out. Again, LeisahHart.com.
Huh?
That's all you got to do.
Well, listen,
me.
And you speak all over the world, right? So people could hire you to speak and motivate and things like that. But
yes,
awesome.
that is my life mission, to make it simple for people. People ask me, what's the best time of day to work out, and I don't even like to use that word, workout. How about what's the best time of day to move?
That's it.
It's the time of day that you'll do it.
Yeah, that's right. Well, listen, keep going. Blessings to you. Keep up your good work, setting an example, and keep it going. We appreciate your time.
Wonderful. Get moving, everybody.
Thanks, Lisa. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
7:18 on March 12th. I'm Diane Ducey here on ESPN 93.5. Stevie out today. Invest in yourself with the free rewards checking from Fisher National Bank. Instead of losing a little each month in fees, wouldn't it be nice to earn on your money? Switch to Fisher National. They offer excellent annual percentage yields with no service fees or minimum balance. Simply make 12 debit card purchases, receive electronic statements, and have one direct deposit a month. Easy as that. Maximize your money with a bank ready to invest in you. Learn more at FisherNational.com. Fisher National Bank. Exceptional communities, exceptional people. Member FDIC. At 7:20, we go to Fox Business Minute. Hope the morning's going well for you as far as our weather. It is fabulous with the sunshine expected today. A little taste of spring. High 71, down to around 40 this evening. Another gorgeous day tomorrow with partly cloudy conditions and a high 70, low 46. The rain could be coming our way on Thursday, but still mild with a high 72. We are ESPN 93.5. Thanks for taking us along this morning.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report. Wall Street will be reacting today to the Consumer Price Index for February. Small business owners are expressing less confidence in the economy and say the future path of inflation has returned as a top concern because the prices of services are still high. The National Federation of Independent Business Optimism Index declined in February. Alaska Air Group is holding up better than expected. The airline says it will lose money in the current quarter, but about half as much as forecast. Alaska's fleet of previously grounded Boeing 737 MAX planes have returned to service. Southwest Airlines says it likely lost money in the recent quarter, though it will return to making a profit this month. It expects to end the year with a reduced headcount, though. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola. Invested in you.
Interesting people are talking to Will Kane.
I said, what do I call you? I call you Dwayne. I call you The Rock. He said, now that I own it, I can call you The Rock.
Yes, I own it now. You can call me The Rock.
Our next guest needs no introduction. It is Dr. Jordan Peters, my old friend and frenemy, Stephen A. Smith.
What is going on here? I see the Will Kane Show in the background. I see the microphone.
Watch it live at noon Eastern, Monday through Thursday on FoxNews.com. And get the podcast 5 days a week at FoxNewsPodcasts.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Well, the push for a work-life balance is fatally flawed, according to a 100-page report. Even nearly 4 years on from the pandemic, many companies are still grappling with a fundamental mismatch between the workers who prefer to work from home and the bosses who prefer a standard amount of person in the office. It's led to cratering retention, productivity, and morale. He is a workplace mental wellness expert, the author of the book, Struggle Well at Work, Positive Mental Health Strategies for a Flourishing Workforce. Michael Dickerson this morning from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, you do have a bad phone.
One of those football phones.
That Time Life subscription guy you got? Free phone? Was that what you got? Is that your best phone, Michael?
No, I don't have a bad phone. Let me see if I can switch and give you a better service.
Okay, you need to call back because you might say something really important.
Is that better for you?
Not much. Do you have a cell phone?
I am on a cell phone.
Oh, bummer. Okay, well, that's a little cleaner.
Okay,
all right. We'll just get a few questions asked. So, what did COVID mess us up irreparably? What do you see here, Michael?
Oh, absolutely. Let the cat out of the bag, right? It let workers and employees know, hey, I can still be productive at work without coming into the office, right? And what we also seen is there was an increase in productivity, not a decrease in productivity when people were working from home.
But generally, from a wellness standpoint, we're not made to be isolated, Michael.
100%. Yeah, I'm not made isolated. I think it's important for us to be able to collaborate with other people and be able to come in and see people's faces. I'm a very face type of person, but people are also individuals who are doing work on their own. So what it really comes down to, it's about choice, and it's about really articulating and communicating with your manager, get work done.
How can we can't do this, but Michael, if you ever get another phone, would you call me? Because I'd really like to talk to you a little longer, but how can people find you online and connect with what you're doing?
Yes, it's at Michael Dickerson. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, or you can reach me on my website, dickersoncg.com.
I'm sure you're helping a lot of people, and I apologize that the phone's just not great to get some of your great wisdom this morning, but we know COVID. Thank you for joining me on the Tavin's Towing phone line. We know that you're doing good work out there. But no, listen, there are people that you kind of like working from home, and I don't blame you. It's just whether you can get the work done. In some cases, you're totally fine doing that. And, a mixture is kind of what we're into that I've seen and heard is there's just some industries you can't do it. You just can't work from home at a restaurant. You can't work at home if you're spring green spraying my lawn. There's just some things you got to go into work and you got to do stuff. But I know that particularly the Generation, whatever it is.
Z, I think.
Z, okay. They've never really known that. I mean, they barely knew going to college.
Yeah.
Because it was all online.
Absolutely.
And isolation is not good for the human. It just isn't. We need to have fellowship with people. And so we've seen that, but we have totally struggled since the pandemic, and the way you do it, people want to have a hybrid at best as far as working at home and office. All right, ESPN 93.5, we'll check your sports headlines. That'll be next.
I'm Diane Ducey here at ESPN 93.5, and I want to welcome you to joining the job scene at Urbana Park District, because, boy, they have some neat opportunities if you'd like a job in planning and operations, aquatics, camps, community events. They've got all kinds of different jobs available right now. Maybe you're looking for a side hustle as a lifeguard, or you're trying to do something as far as a camp counselor, getting the kids all signed up for the summer programs here during spring break. You can do that by going to urbanaparks.org. Thanks for taking us along. It is 7:26 here at ESPN 93.5.
I have this wonderful dog named Rusty, and we live in a small town, and every evening we go for a walk. And recently on that walk, I stopped and was looking up at the stars. Wow! I marveled at their formations and their brightness. And at that point, I realized these same stars were shining brightly when my friend, Jesus Christ, was living on earth. Even today, we still wish upon these stars. Well, instead of wishing and hoping, allow me to introduce to you my best friend, Jesus Christ. He has always kept his promises, will always be by your side, providing a light to guide your steps, offering a love that will never leave you, and willingly extending the forgiveness and understanding for all wrongs. But most important, providing hope for today and hope for tomorrow. Just reach out. Jesus will put his arms around you and offer comfort, strength, and courage for all eternity. He only asks for your love, willingness to help others, and a dedicated commitment to walk with him. It's really that simple.
Hi, this is Steve from Good Vibes.
And I'm Luke Goody from your men's basketball team.
So, Luke, you're what, about 6'7"?
Yeah? Why?
Because size matters in basketball and video.
I know it's easier to shoot over a smaller guy.
And it's easier to see every detail on the biggest screen. That's why we brought in Sony's 98-inch Bravia. Unbelievable TV for gaming and sports.
That's not taller than me, though, is it?
No, but it's 8 inches wider than you are high. It is large and in charge.
All right, so it's big. Does it lose something blown up that size?
Nope. The Sony Cognitive Processor delivers wide dynamic contrast, billions of natural colors, and high peak brightness all the way to the corners over 8 feet apart.
So all that means is it's expensive, right?
$69.99 isn't cheap, but it's less than a good projector and screen, and it works in bright rooms.
So how much am I getting paid for this commercial again?
Well, not that much, Luke, but with your good credit, it's under $650 a month with 0%, including tax and installation by Good Vibes experts.
Here's what new customers are saying about Interstate Batteries.
It's nice to see capable and helpful associates. They did a top-notch job.
They were easy to talk to and explained everything.
Service was prompt and I was a walk-in. Total service time was only like 20 minutes. I highly recommend Interstate Batteries.
Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable. How much is dependable worth? Experience them for the first time at 2504 North Mattis. Way out there, but worth the drive. Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable.
Visit interstatebatteries.com.
Bet like the pros with the world's largest sports book right at your fingertips. Circus Sports is now available in Illinois. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I've been a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. We're excited that the Circus Sports app is now ready for action. Experience big app bets with high betting limits, tight money line splits, and more. Now you can download, fund, and bet like a pro from anywhere in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circusports.com. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
Accumulation, preservation, generation. At Busey Bank, these are the principles we use to build meaningful financial partnerships with our clients and their families. With sound advice and vast resources, partner with Busey for a personalized approach to your legacy. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini, member FDIC.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
For the House Judiciary Committee this morning about his special counsel report on President Biden's mishandling of classified documents.
They were found in a badly damaged box in the president's Delaware garage surrounded by household items. But Hurd gives this reason for not prosecuting President Biden. At trial, Mr. Biden would likely present himself to a jury as he did during our interview of him as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. Ariel Henry says he will resign as Prime Minister of Haiti.
After fleeing the country while armed gangs run the streets there, he will now turn over authority to a transitional council. This all comes hours after Secretary of State Antony Blinken held an emergency meeting in the Caribbean and pledged millions of dollars to support Haiti.
Fox's Todd Pyro. Consumer inflation February comes in at 3.2% year over year. America's listening to Fox News.
ESPN 93.5. It is Monday morning. I am Stevie Jay. There's Diane Ducey.
Good morning.
And in our studios, the very talented Dr. Susan Mantell. Been in the Army for a few years and has 14 degrees now. I've lost track. I mean, you're as well-informed and educated human I might know. I mean, how many degrees can I ask?
I don't know.
Do you know?
5 or 6.
Okay.
Well, I'd have done
and
that.
And so many tours and so much stuff when it comes to people's health. I mean, thank you.
Weren't you in the Middle East for a year recently?
Yes.
And serving your country and serving as a doctor. She's a doctor. She's from Philo, Illinois.
Right.
She is certainly just unbelievably successful. And so the Army for how long? And are you leaving the Army?
I am leaving the Army on Veterans Day. After 40 years.
Okay.
Are they gonna close it, or what's the procedure?
We have plenty of people to follow.
How many people serve 40?
Actually, I was with a veterinarian this weekend that has been in 45 years.
Okay.
So
Unbelievable.
there are a few of us.
So what's that life look like without you going in and out of town a lot?
I can switch to doing something else on the weekend that I don't have to go up to Madison.
Well, it's great having you. We have the Lincoln Day dinner that's coming up Sunday evening. Tell me about that. Tell me about your participation in the Champaign County Republican Party.
Yeah, so I am the election operations chair. I'm also the president of the Republican Women of Champaign County. And so my role is to really help us recruit as many election judges, precinct committeemen, and as many poll watchers as we can. So I've also taken on the role of running the Lincoln Day dinner this year again. And we have a fabulous speaker. Her name is Grace Ketchetarian. And she is going to talk about hope, which is the subject of her new book, It's Okay. And I did start reading her book. It's amazing. She has a lot of great stories. It's one of those books you can pick up and just read it for a few minutes and read a couple, bits of it and get just a nice little shot of hope for the day.
Mm-hmm. Well, she'll be very appreciative that you A, bought it, and B, are reading it and love it, and that's awesome. And I can't wait. Janet and I will be there, so people listening, come sit with me. Come on, man. Come sit at the table by myself. Come on.
And actually, we need arrangements made pretty soon here.
Yeah, the dinner's Sunday, but we want people to come buy tickets. It's a fundraiser, so it's $80 each, but you get your food, you get your speaker, you get the whole night.
Yes. And we will have as many elected officials there as possible. They will be speaking after Grace. So you can stick around and hear, Chapin Rose. Hopefully Mary and Chris Miller will be there. We've got the newest state House member, Brandon Schweitzer, who is running for election this year but was appointed into the slot. Adam Niemerg will be there. So we have a number of individuals. We also have candidates that are running for the different districts like 13th. So we've got Josh Lloyd, who's a West Point grad, and then Thomas Clatterbuck, who is U of I law student. So they'll be there to talk to constituents as well. So pretty excited. We have our coroner candidate, Steve Thuney, who will be there. So it's going to be just a moment to sit with like-minded people, get some hopeful inspiration, and talk about what we need to do to turn the country around.
Well, country for sure, but certainly county used to be nice, bright red, and it's all blue. And it's I don't think there's a Republican holding one of the major offices right now that I know
Well,
of.
we still have Steve Thuney, who's sitting in the coroner slot. He was appointed. Okay. We have a number of board members as well, so we still have 6 county board members.
Out of 22, I mean.
Yes. So we, what people need to understand is the power the county board has.
A lot.
And
There's
they
a
have
lot
a lot
of
of
power,
power.
yeah.
And so if you don't want your taxes raised, if you don't want the state to allow a windmill to be put right next to your house, things like that, you needed to pay attention because
Philo held serve on that one, right, on the windmill, because I think it was like a state thing where they could come put it there. Wait a minute, I don't want it there.
Yes.
How can the state do that in a county?
Well, they just make laws that...
I didn't know that was... I thought everything was local or something. It kind of...
It's supposed to be, but the state has decided that they want to just come in and enforce their own laws that don't consider the constituents or what the public wants. And so that's one of the differences, I think, between the Republican Party and the Democrat Party right now, is we've got a bunch of people legislating from the city. They don't know what it's like to have a windmill next to their house.
Well, they would never have one next to their house.
They wouldn't.
They would have it next to my house, but not next to their house.
Exactly.
That's
rules for thee, but not for
exactly.
me. Right?
Susan Mantell, Dr. Mantell in our studio. You're always welcome to text us at 217-359-2255. I feel, and I might be wrong, that there's not a lot of hope in the Republican Party. The feeling is we'll never win again. But you believe you can win in this county, and a Republican can be elected.
I absolutely do. We are working with Souris, Illinois, and we have the data to support that.
There are enough voters to put you in.
There are enough voters to put us in office. We know that we have around 9,000 what we call turnout Republicans. Those are Republicans that don't vote in every election, but when they do vote, they vote Republican. And if we can get everybody to vote, Republicans tend to not want to vote except for on Election Day.
And why is that?
They're worried that their vote's going to get
lost,
something,
yeah,
taken, whatever.
But Democrats do that in droves.
They do. So there are 3 ways to vote in our state. You can vote early, which there are a lot of places to vote early. Now, for the primary, it's primarily at the Brookins Center, but you can vote early. For the general, right here in Philo, right next door, you can go and vote and get your vote in and banked, and then you don't have to worry about someone taking it.
Mm-hmm.
Then you could do vote by mail, which some people do, collect their ballot and turn it in close to Election Day. And then there's always Election Day voting.
Yeah.
But the challenge with Election Day voting is you have students and people registering on the same day because that's allowed in our county.
But how do we prove who we are, and how do I prove that I'm not voting in Naperville? I know it's a federal law and we break it and all these other things, but how do you how would they track that?
Well, there are ways to do that. We have done some initiatives, and we are looking into some of that data as well. So there are ways to see who has voted already in other counties. Part of that is getting the right data and scrubbing it.
Tricky. Okay, it's Dr. Susan Mantell. Again, Lincoln Day dinner is coming up. Anybody want to go?
March 3rd.
It's this Sunday in the evening. We're there at, what time do we get there?
So if you buy a VIP ticket, come in at 4:30 so you can meet with Grace, get a book, get it signed. And you'll meet with some of the candidates and some of the...
Grace is going to be at the VIP thing?
Yes.
What time is that, and how much more is that?
4:30.
4:30. So.
It's just if you buy a table, it's a few bucks more.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, people want to come sit with Janet and me, just text in, and we'll hold a seat because I only got how many, 8 or 10 at my table. I don't have a table, but I want to sit them with me.
There's 10 at each table.
Okay,
Awesome.
so come on, man.
And then
come
doors
join me.
open for check-in at 5:30, and really the program then at 6?
Yes.
Okay.
So Holiday Inn, 101 Trade Center Drive, Neil Kirby, right? Just right.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's a nice spot.
Mm-hmm.
And the room is big enough and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have a couple hundred people there.
Okay,
so
jump in on sponsorship today, too. By the end of the day, champagne.gop gives you all the details. I know the next day, the active senior Republicans, a week from today, Monday, March 4th, they meet at the Champaign Public Library, start gathering after 9:30, they'll have their meeting. How are you feeling about, these are active senior Republicans. Are we doing okay, Sue?
Oh, yeah, they have a great group. The active senior Republicans do a great job. They've been around for quite a while. Just, they organize. They'd love for us to have a center for them to go to, so an actual headquarters. So one of the things we've initiated as part of kind of our drive to really build our party and keep it sustaining through the non-election years is a membership program. And if you're interested in joining the membership for $20 a month, we have events each month. We're actually having a day at the Lanes on Wednesday, the 28th. And that's at Arrowhead Lanes.
Nice.
So that's for members only, and we're going to just get families together and do some bowling. And we're planning to do events like that every month so that like-minded individuals can get together and be comfortable talking politics or whatever they want to talk about. But our membership program really is going to sustain us for the future. And we've already got about 40 members that's helping to pay for, the data that we need to help serve the candidates, to help put together events like the Lincoln Day Dinner, to help, eventually we'll have flyers we'll need to be printing and walk cards and things like that.
Yeah.
So, it's all to support candidates in the end.
I think of all the summer festivals that I kind of help coordinate, Tolono Fun Day, for instance, and then Champaign County Freedom Celebration. You guys are going to need a big push in a lot of these parades and things like that, too. So,
absolutely.
Good idea to get things going here in the first quarter. I see that the speakers at the library on Monday will be Tom Clatterbuck and Joshua Lloyd. So, they're talking about what Nikki Budinsky is planning and how to really stay on fire.
Yes, so they're running for the 13th Congressional District, which stretches all the way down to St. Louis. It's right there in Madison County, I think is the edge of it, or St. Clair. So they are both going to be talking about kind of their role. They're running against each other in the primary. So those folks that live in the 13th district will need to choose one of them. So it would be a great time to actually come and see them and talk to them and try to figure out which person you want to vote for if you haven't voted yet.
By the way, Center for Your Health, I think it's a gift to Philo. I mean, you have a medical facility right here and a workout place, same building. How's that going?
It's going great. I have a fantastic staff. My PA, Erica, is the primary provider there. I basically consult and cover call on the weekends, and I'm still doing a lot of addiction medicine.
Well, you've done a great job. And Catherine, what doesn't Catherine know? She's smart. Nurse.
She's fantastic. She keeps the place together. Her and Lori and Tracy and Erica are just like this great, well-meshed team.
Awesome. And, of course, Pete and your kids, how's everybody doing?
They're doing great. Alex he's a Navy nuclear reactor operator on the USS Alabama, and he should be going out to the Pacific one last time before he comes back to North Charleston to teach young Navy sailors how to run nuclear reactors.
Unbelievable.
And
I think over a dozen years ago, he used to go out with Gabby, my daughter.
He did. Yep.
So nuclear what?
Nuclear reactor operator. Yeah, so he runs the reactor on the submarine.
Could he train me? Which button again, Alex? That's a little frightening, isn't it?
And then my son David's getting married.
Yes.
So,
wow.
Yeah, so that's exciting. And of course, Sarah and Kirby are down in the St. Louis area with the 3 grandbabies.
Wow.
And Kenny's in school.
Yay.
Yeah.
He was always such a good soccer player.
He is. Yeah, he still is. He just, studying away, and his girlfriend's got an interview for vet school this Thursday. So.
Nice.
The highly successful, talented Dr. Susan Mantell. Again, the Lincoln Day Dinner keynote speaker is my daughter Grace. This will actually be her first She has a number of them coming up, but this is her first talk about her book, It's Okay, Finding Peace in Unexpected Places. And she's going to talk about that and talk about never giving up and believing and having that hope.
Good to be inspired on Sunday, March 3rd at the Holiday Inn, 101 Trade Center Drive, right behind, is it Baxter's?
Yes.
Yeah,
in that area.
right there. And again, how can people get tickets?
So they can get tickets by going to the website, champagne.gop. If you can't do that, you can give me a call. I can, my number's all over the website. Just give me a call. We can kind of book a table or a seat for you, and then you can bring a check.
Looking forward to it. That'll be fun. Sunday, March 3rd. All right, Dr. Susan Mantell, thank you for all you do with the Army and with the Republican Party and the community and your doctor's office. Thank you. Quite the figure here.
Yeah,
she's not
kind of an overachiever.
Well, she's a doctor, and then she went and got like 19 masters. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And she can ride a horse. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
man.
that too.
Anyway, thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Dr. Susan Mantell on ESPN 93.5.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
The Alma Market is your one-stop shop for one-of-a-kind creations from the University of Illinois alumni and students, as well as unique finds from some of your favorite Urbana-Champaign area businesses. Treat yourself or a loved one and support your fellow Illini today. If you're a University of Illinois student, alum, or Champaign-Urbana area business, feature your products on the Alma Market. Becoming a vendor is a great way to expand your reach and connect with Illini across the country. For more details, visit almamarket.org. Go Illini!
At Pards in Urbana, the boots just keep on coming. They're known for their huge collection of men's cowboy boots, women's cowgirl boots, kids' boots, and even shoes. If you're searching for top footwear brands, look no further than Pards. They carry a wide variety, including Ariat, Dan Post, Smoky Mountain, Roper, Double H, and more. And if socks or accessories are what you need, they've got all your high-quality essentials. Since 1968, Pards has been serving their customers with high-quality merchandise. And if you haven't been to Pards in a while, a lot has changed. Go check them out just off University Avenue in Urbana.
Hi, I'm Tyler Weaver, president of Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery. It's time to come home to Carpet Weavers. We don't want you to just like your new floors. We want you to love them. From waterproof floors and carpet to furnitures and design advice, we've got a team of experts on your side. We'll get you the best price and the best quality products. And complete your home with furniture and accessories. Buy it all with free financing too. Come home to Carpet Weavers, where floors, furniture, and family meet.
I've got to clean out this garage. Let's see. What's the cheapest and easiest dumpster service in our area?
Here's what I found. The doggy bag.
Think she's broken. I'm not looking for takeout. Siri, try again.
The doggy bag from Bulldog Disposal in Mahomet.
Doggy bag? What's that?
If you got junk that needs to go, but you don't want the hassle of having an enormous dumpster delivered, grab a doggy bag, keep it as long as you need. They'll come take it away. For more information, just visit bulldoggybag.com.
That's bulldoggybag.com.
Our weather looks terrific today here at 7:48. The temperature is at 42, and we are up to 70, according to our meteorologist, Greg Sillier. And really mild conditions tomorrow with partly cloudy conditions and a high of 72 expected. Up to 70 on Thursday, but a 70% shot at showers. Again, 41 here in downtown Philo. ESPN 93.5, where we have a sports update that includes number 16 Illinois Golf participating in Alabama. And Tyler Goki had a pretty good game. And it looks like in round 3, we'll be in Alabama and see how we do with the Illini ranked number 16 and placing in the top 10. Illinois softball, 7-6 winners over the St. Louis Billikens yesterday, 8-9 on the season. The home opener will come our way tomorrow against Missouri with a doubleheader starting at 1. We had Dallas over the Chicago Bulls 127-92. And tonight, it's the Pacers at Oklahoma City and Milwaukee's in Sacramento. NHL action had St. Louis over Boston 5-1. Anaheim will be in Chicago for the Blackhawks tonight at 7:30. In the AP Top 25, Houston, UConn, Purdue, still the top 3. Then North Carolina and Tennessee to round out the top 5 are Fighting Illini ranked number 13. Dropping only one spot. Of course, the Big Ten tournament will find us in action Friday at 5:30 up in Minneapolis, and we'll play the winner of, it'll be either Ohio State or Iowa. So go Illini. This segment brought to you by Kramer Siding and Window, your premier provider for home improvement, specializing in siding, windows, doors, roofing, and outdoor living. Visit kramersiding.com. Hitting a lot of great pre-recorded interviews from earlier, and here's Stevie Jay with John Lott.
Dr. John Lott has joined me once again, sir, from Missoula, Montana. They'll be coming to Montana last. And when I say they, it's when this thing falls apart, which I pray doesn't happen. John Lott, I'm talking about the United States of America. You know, what did Ronald Reagan say? You can mess this up with one generation. Some of the stuff going on, John, it's just crazy nuts.
Well, I think it's pretty depressing what's going on. I mean, we've had GDP, our income in the country has been shrinking over the last 6 months. And I think it's pretty obvious why that's the case. A lot of it has to do with all the new regulations that the Biden administration's imposing. And now we have a bill that Joe Manchin has agreed to, which is going to have a lot more regulations and a lot new taxes.
When you look at what people are concerned about, climate is like, what, 9th or something? It's all this attention from the far left. This is a far left agenda. And so we're going to have more stuff, more. They're going to find corporations that aren't, on the climate page. Guess who's paying for that? It's going to be me. I don't understand why people in Washington don't understand. They pass it down. What's the problem?
Right. Well, I'm not sure. You want to encourage companies to go and expand and invest. Putting more taxes on them doesn't exactly seem the way to go and do that.
But good, John, the White House says, good news, the White House says that 2 quarters of negative GDP does not mean a recession. Hey, they redefined it. Good news. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the same time, they're saying the economy is moving in the right direction. They talk about a slowdown. I don't know. If it's actually negative, that doesn't seem a slow growth. That seems like negative growth. It seems like, so at the same time, we've had about 4.5 that we know of new people into the United States last year with Biden. Right. And at the same time, our income is falling. Per capita income is falling even faster then as we have more people there. So Americans are getting poor.
Dr. John Lott is an economist and the president of the Crime Prevention Research Center. Fascinating stuff. We were talking the last time, Dr. Lott, on the Dick Van Dyke Appliance World phone line, that when we say there are 300 mass shootings in America, that's a little deceptive, right? The definition of that is what?
Yeah. Well, the number that's used there is from some place called the Gun Violence Archive. And they're looking at any time where 3 people are wounded and or killed by gunfire. The thing is, about 87% of those are drug gangs fighting against each other over drug turf. They usually, though, they use it in the context, they'll say something like, the school shooting or the Buffalo grocery store shooting, and then they'll say there's 300 of those that are happening. And I guess my point would be, look, both are bad. Both drug gangs fighting against each other over drug turf is bad, as well as, obviously, these other types of cases. But they're very different from each other. both the causes and the solutions to stopping them. I mean, one thing I have to say, I'm really kind of at the end of my leash as far as how the media bias is covering these stories. So, for example, the Buffalo mass murderer, he explicitly spends a lot of time in his manifesto explaining why he picked the target that he did. And why did he do that? His top reason is he wanted to go to a place where he knew his victims would not have concealed handguns to be able to go and protect themselves.
Yeah.
These killers, time after time after time, they may be crazy in some sense, but they're not stupid. Their goal is to get media attention, and they know the more people they kill, the more media attention they're going to get.
John, what if we stop what if we really stop going wall to wall on things like that? Mention it in the news, but don't go live and don't go to the press conference. Doesn't that stir the mentally ill or evil people, as you say, to do it to get attention? If we didn't cover it, would they do it as much?
You're exactly right. That's exactly the point. That you cannot read their diaries or their manifestos and not see time after time. They see, if I can only kill more people than such and such did, I can get even more media attention.
Why do you think we haven't seen a streaker on TV since 1975? They stopped showing it and they stopped doing it. Right. That's the whole thing.
Right. No, you're exactly right. They explicitly stopped showing those on TV, and so people aren't doing it anymore.
Yeah.
The media understands this stuff, but what upsets me is that, look, we don't need to get rid of the First Amendment, but it would be helpful if the media was less biased in its coverage. If it would mention why these guys picked the targets that they did, that they go after places where guns are banned.
Right.
This isn't rocket science. These guys go to places where they know victims can't defend themselves because they know they're going to be able to go and kill more people in there. There's a reason why 96% of these mass public shootings have taken place in areas where guns are banned.
Yeah.
People wouldn't put a sign in front of their home that says their home is a gun-free zone if they really thought somebody was threatening them, because it's not like they believe that the murderer would say, "Oh, I can't go in there because I can't take my gun." Instead, it tells them that they're going to be able to have an easy target because the people inside, they'll take advantage of the fact that law-abiding citizens obey the rules, and they're going to disobey them.
John, I hope we can chat again. I love that you deal in facts, and you've got it. Tell people where they can find your website.
It's crimeresearch.org, crimeresearch.org.
Please join us again. John, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Economist and the president of Crime Prevention Research Center, crimeresearch.org. Mm-hmm. He's got nothing but stuff. I mean, it's just...
As Tapman's Towing celebrates 50 years of serving Central Illinois, we're always seeking good people to serve our great customers. Our team of expert tow professionals would like to interview others with CDLs, previous tow experience, or a strong interest in serving others. If you enjoy serving people, love working in the outdoors, and looking for a career, not just a job, we should talk soon. Do you have a strong desire but lack the experience? We should still talk. Visit our career page at tapmanstowing.com.
Hi, this is Steve from Good Vibes. And I'm Luke Goody from your men's basketball team. Steve, I have a question. Shoot! We've talked about Sony, but I know you have LG and Samsung too. Aren't they all kind of the same? That's a tough one. Samsung is famous for their bright, colorful picture and the frame TV. They look like art, right? What about LG? Okay, Sony invented OLED, but LG perfected OLED manufacturing. That efficiency makes LG the #1 selling OLED TV in the country, and their build quality is excellent. Yeah, they're really flat too. So, why Sony? Sony makes movies, cameras, monitors. Accurate image is crucial. Colors, skin tones, contrast, motion handling are just some of what Sony does better. Sony buys panels from Samsung and LG and improves them with their own video processing. Wait, a Sony might have an LG screen? Yeah, or even Samsung. You've heard how a great coach can take your team and beat his? I get it. Sony can use other guys' parts and still make a winning product? All to get that red hair just the right shade and no blur on the swish.
First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana invested in our community since 1908. Before you buy your home in 2024, we invite you to speak with one of our experienced lenders, Jack, Jim, Kim, or Lane. Experience the convenience of working with a local lender with local service, decisions, and loan underwriting in our comfortable offices. Visit us to experience the exceptional friendly service from our knowledgeable staff. Hey, if you're not already banking with us, give us a try. We think you'll love it here. We do. 356bank.com, First Federal. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 435120.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
In an ever-changing real estate market, it is so important to work with experienced agents like Russ and Nick Taylor with the Taylor teams at Taylor Realty Associates. They have the knowledge and expertise to get your home sold for the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. Trust the experience and success of Russ and Nick Taylor with the Taylor team at Taylor Realty Associates. Give them a call today at 217-355-0700 or visit them online at taylorboys.com. That's taylorboys.com.
Congressman Andy Biggs tells Fox they'll ask Robert Hur about that, questioning the ex-special counsel investigated Biden mishandling of classified documents.
Democrats calling it a political hit job. Republicans insist it raised real questions about the president's cognitive abilities. Today, we do have Hur's opening statement. He's going to tell lawmakers, quote, "We identified evidence that the president willfully retained classified materials after the end of his vice presidency." Now, Hur in the same report said he was not going to charge Biden based off of the investigation, that there wasn't enough evidence. Lawmakers are likely to press her, though, to further examine what he thought of Biden's memory of those documents and his time in the White House prior.
Fox's Mark Meredith at the White House. Lawmakers will also get a classified briefing today on TikTok and the surveillance risks posed by the company's Chinese ownership, ahead of a vote tomorrow on a bill to ban TikTok unless the social media app separates itself from China. Former President Trump's wary, saying that'll help Facebook, which he calls the true enemy. But Republican Congresswoman Kathy McMorris Rogers tells Fox Business she supports that TikTok ban.
The bill is targeted and specific, focusing on the national security threat. We're not getting into content.
Breaking news out of Israel. A soldier who's also a U.S. citizen is confirmed to be among the 33 dead hostages Hamas is still holding, along with 100 others still alive. People will vote for president in 4 states today, contests that could set up the Trump-Biden rematch they could clinch today. America's listening to Fox News.
Federal authorities are now pressuring banks to spy on the transactions of conservatives. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and this is yet another reason why you need a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To learn more, text the word SHELTER to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs. Secure your IRA or 401k right now. Text SHELTER to 989898 to request your free info kit right now.
Message and data rates may apply.
Paid for by Birch Gold Group.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Again, voting today in 4 states could end with President Biden and former President Trump clinching nominations. It comes as the Republican National Committee makes a lot of changes.
More than 60 staffers in the RNC's political, communications, and data departments are being let go amid the installation of former President Trump's new leadership team. Some were given the option of reapplying for their jobs, and others were told to leave on Monday. Those who decline to reapply have to leave by the end of the month. The RNC is the GOP's formal political and fundraising arm that helps Republicans win elections up and down the ballot. The Trump campaign now has operational control of the RNC, choosing Michael Whatley as chair, the former president's daughter-in-law Laura Trump as the co-chair, and Trump campaign senior advisor Chris LaCivita as RNC chief of staff, who called the actions streamlining. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Boeing has more explaining to do after the company's manufacturing failed a bunch of FAA audits. One found mechanics using a hotel key and even dish soap as makeshift tools.
The discovery came as the agency looked into Boeing and Spirit Aerosystems after a door plug flew off of a 737 MAX 9 midair. The New York Times reporting that the audit found Spirit Aerosystems mechanics used the hotel key and dish soap to test compliance. Spirit Aerosystems makes the body of the 737 MAX jets. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
A Boeing whistleblower who raised concerns about the plane maker's production standards and safety has been found dead in Charleston County, South Carolina, from what's being investigated as a suicide. John Barnett worked at Boeing for 3 decades as a quality control engineer. Again, the inflation report this morning shows a slight tick back up in consumer prices year over year, but on Wall Street, stock futures are rising modestly ahead of today's trading. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. Police have arrested a Decatur man on an attempted murder charge. Arnold Burton taken into custody in connection with the incident Friday in an apartment in the 1300 block of North Edward Street, where a male victim was found with an upper body stab wound and then was hospitalized. A doctor with Carle Health wants the community to know about a recent rise in measles. Dr. Robert Healy said there aren't many cases in central Illinois right now, but feels it's important to open the conversation to prevent the disease. Indiana Department of Public Health confirming someone from Northwest Indiana has it. That person went to 3 different Chicago hospitals while contagious. Champaign-Urbana Mass Transit is operating on a special schedule this week due to the University of Illinois spring break. Find out more on their website. Additionally, all routes will not have Sunday evening and Sunday late night service. Safe Rides Connect service will only operate until midnight and will not operate for Sunday evening and late night. Once again, for more information, check out their website. You're up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Joe Miller.
Yeah, it's a good week for spring break, especially here early on as we check in with our meteorologist, Greg Soulier. Our forecast is brought to you by Carle, working every day to improve the health of the community members across the region. If you're looking for an opportunity to serve others in a supportive environment, visit carle.org/careers. So, Greg, are you with me?
Yes, I am.
Well, tell us about the good news, and then maybe we could talk about how the farmers are feeling about all this.
Yeah, we can certainly do that, but in the shorter term, and we're still, a few weeks away from, getting full-grown, full-tilt operations out of the back 40 going, and of course the rains from late last week sure helped with some of the drier areas still lurking in all directions outside of Champaign and proper. The wind and the warmth too here for the next couple of days helping us in the Western Corn Belt. Different story because of dryness and drought there and increased wildfire, grass fire potentials. In any event, here, 42 at Willard and Savoy right now, same at Danville, 43. Over at Rantoul, these are not far off what you'd expect in the afternoon for March 12th. But we'll take it onwards and upwards from there with sun-filled days, stiff south-southwesterly winds above 30 like we had here yesterday afternoon, and temperatures as well closing in on the 70-degree mark. We'll bottom out tonight at 49. We've got a slow approaching frontal boundary that'll stall to the north and west, but moisture begins to pool. There may be a stray shower at some point later this evening, and more likely after midnight tonight. Tomorrow, iffy shower chances early and late, partly sunny, windy, and seasonally mild, once again closing in on 70 on a gusty south wind. Showers and thunderstorms become more numerous tomorrow night. We'll bottom out in the 50s. It's still a mild Thursday at 68. That'll be our best likelihood of a couple of rounds of showers and thunderstorms. Maybe another half, 3/4, maybe an inch of rain in the gauge. A couple of showers linger Friday. It's back in late Saturday into Sunday. And we do have a pattern shift here over late in the weekend and early next week as well. 58 on Friday, not bad. Saturday, high 57, not too bad either, but then some chillier weather. The high near 50 on Sunday, maybe a snowflake in the morning and a sprinkle in the afternoon. Then Monday, cold with daytime readings into the lower 40s. A quick peek at maybe Palm Sunday and Easter. A little more wintry looking around here, and we'll talk about that here in the days to come. For Steve Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Soldier.
Very happy to welcome our next guest. She was Miss Illinois 2018. She competed in Atlantic City live on ABC television, Atlantic City's famous Boardwalk Hall, as Miss Illinois in the 2019 Miss America pageant. Then she traveled the state advocating for mental health awareness, reminding every individual that the story has a purpose. Her new book is titled, It's Okay, Finding Peace in Unexpected Places. It's my daughter, Grace Khachaturian. I can still see you, Grace, dancing on the stage, making all your turns to Josh Groban. And the Philadelphia Inquirer putting the crying emoji on their website and on their social media saying, capturing the emotion of Miss America, Miss Illinois. Anyway, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Great.
How's it feel being a newlywed, Grace?
I know, right? I have to think about it every time I'm writing my last name. I'm like, wait, which name am I using right now? Which audience is this for?
It's Grace Cacciatarian Hurtubise is what you're going by, right? Grace Cacciatarian Hurtubise.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
and to me, when I hear the Josh Groban, I think of the daddy-daughter dance that turned into a big family hug on the dance floor. So touching.
Oh, I know. I knew I had to incorporate that song on our wedding day somehow, just because it had carried so much meaning to us, like 15 years at that point. So I don't know that my dad knew that was going to be our first dance song for my dad and I at my wedding. But
I don't think so either, because as the DJ for 30 years of weddings, I was constantly asking him about the daddy, if you're going to do something special, what do you? And he was like, I don't know. I just do what Janet's telling me right now.
Everything. No, for sure. But I was touched and surprised by it. It was
Exactly.
Awesome. So, Grace, the book is It's Okay, Finding Peace in Unexpected Places. Tell me about that. Why did you write it? What's it about?
Yes, there was two driving forces to writing this book, one being my faith, two being a quote that I love by Morgan Harper Nichols that you'll find in the book, but it's tell the story of the mountain you've climbed. It could become a page in someone else's survival guide. And I wrote this book with the individuals in mind that might be at rock bottom or might just be in a season where things feel heavy and hard and you're just trying to figure it out. And this is pretty much 30 chapters of stories. It's packed full of stories of unfiltered detail of when life was really good, but when also life was really hard. We talk about Miss America. We talk about meltdowns on the kitchen floor. We talk about learning to scuba dive, being deathly afraid of water. We talk about bird poop patrol. There's such a spectrum of stories that we go through, and we tie it all together in each chapter, how we learn to find the Lord in the midst of everything, that He is in our midst when we're willing and conditioned to seek and find Him there and to seek and find the good in every moment.
Well, you go into so many different stories and you share so much. I mean, you really put it out there. I mean, you weren't afraid. Were you hesitant to do that?
Yes. This book took under 3 years, but just around that time frame. But it was mostly because I kept going through it and I kept, writing and tweaking and revising. But this is completely done, by my own eyes and own work. But there was a constant pull of okay, is this too much? In some ways, I joke that it feels like a tell-all because of my own story of my own life, of every detail of who I am and how I think what got me to where I am right now. And there's a lot of good to that, but there's also a lot of not so glamorous parts to it that were bumpy. And sometimes when you're writing that and you're going to just send it out into the world, it's like, oh gosh, did I share too much detail here? But that's my hope, though, is I think impact happens when we're willing to let our guard down, and vulnerability invites vulnerability. And I think there's power in that. And the more we're willing to expose the true story of our own lives, I think the more someone could potentially be impacted by it.
I think people may be surprised by somebody like you, so successful, lacking confidence along the way.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think people relate to that because we've all shared those moments where we're not sure. Those steps are hard, and yet you share that saying, hey, that happens to me too.
Yeah, and much more than that. I mean, we talk about body image. We talk about breakups. We talk about, there's really, I think especially in a woman's life, there's pretty much nothing we don't cover here. And really, it's this book, this shares for everyone. You could read this and find something that you probably resonate with, but because I've walked a path of what probably a lot of teenage girls have walked through, or college individuals have walked through, I just share the detail of the hard. I think that's the thing that's not talked about.
I want to just read a little of a review. It says, I feel compelled to write a review of Grace Cacciatarian's enlightening and spiritual book, It's Okay, Finding Peace in Unexpected Places. It's a wonderful read for young women who are navigating high school, college, and beginning life on their own. So many experiences shared with powerful analogies of how God works through all of our lives to make good of our messes and fulfillment from our experiences. I recommend all you moms purchase this book for a special young woman in your life, and even senior lady me is enjoying realizing past experience I felt distraught about were blessings in disguise. You can buy this book on Amazon. It's okay, Finding Peace in Unexpected Places. You have to be really moved by moving people.
Honestly, it feels like I can't take credit for it. It feels like, I don't know, one removed of me. And I've been praying that the Lord would do what only He can with this book, because I know my words are void without His power behind them. And I just sat and wrote this all in between two covers, but the impact and the power it has is nothing just with me. So I feel like I can't take credit for it, but I feel so honored and taken back, and honestly, like, just so moved and shocked that someone actually, is taking something away from the words that I put down. I feel very honored by that. So, but that's my hope. My hope is that the Lord moves people with it.
There's a study about teen and mental health, and that came out this week as well. But remember when you spoke at the high schools as Miss Illinois, and the line of girls that wanted to talk to you privately. There are a lot of things out there. I'm sure the phone has exacerbated some of that exposure and pressure for girls to be something that just isn't possible.
Right. I totally think that there's a lot that goes on behind screens that shouldn't, but I think a lot of the times we get so isolated because of our screens, and then it's kind of perfect environment for not great things to happen in our minds. We get too locked up in our own minds, and that's when it can get really dangerous. I mean, 50% of all mental illness begins by the age of 14, so it's urgent that our students, that our teens, that our kids in our household are being looked after, but that the family's getting around the kitchen table on a regular basis with phones down and real conversations happening, because we all have the ability and the responsibility to notice and ask and lean in when people maybe aren't well, and to know that it's okay to not be well and to talk about it. But I think that it's so important, and it comes down to the home, that people are having those real conversations. That's something I really talk about in my book. It's about corner of the dock, and it's noticing the people in the corner of our lives, whether it be the corner of your kitchen table, the classroom, the coffee shop. We all have the ability and the responsibility to notice and act if we see something that's not quite right.
Once you told the story of the corner of the dock, you tend to kind of see people more that are sitting alone.
Absolutely.
And sometimes, they don't have anything. They don't have anybody. And that's so sad.
Well, and taking those first steps, Grace, that's, takes bravery to reach out to somebody. So I thank you for reaching out to that kid at that, what was it, the Vancouver area or somewhere.
Yeah.
Where you were at your Young Life camp and helping as a counselor. So thanks for stepping up. And that's what we all need to do if we see someone facing some issues.
Absolutely. And I think when we're in those situations, we might feel that nudge to go talk to someone or just like say hi or whatever that is. And I 100% and every fiber in me believes that nudge is not a coincidence. That is something they are meant to be doing. They are placed in that purpose, maybe for the sole purpose that we are to perhaps impact that person or help them. Or maybe the hi is exactly what they need, because you truly never know what's going on in someone else's head or in their story, and how much of an impact a simple hi could make.
Somebody said, I knew this would be good. She is so very spiritual. Isn't that nice?
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Well, the Holy Spirit is good, so.
Well, it's from your whole perspective, it's just looking like, well, God is involved in this, so how does this make sense? And that helps you make sense.
Right. It's the peace in unexpected places. It's that peace that transcends all understanding, that when you're in the thick of it, and all of a sudden, in maybe the worst moment, you have this peace that comes over you. Like at the end of the end of the breakup story, it's talking about the story in the Bible where the disciples are on this ship that's kind of in this storm, and Jesus is sleeping in the back, and Jesus just says, quiet, be still, and it all comes to perfect peace. And for some reason, right in the thick of the breakup, it's like everything came to perfect peace, like the water stilled. Rather than it just starting in the storm, it was all of a sudden like complete peace. Like the Lord had said, quiet, be still, over my entire situation in the moment that would least likely to be like that. I found peace in completely unexpected places. But I think that's a condition of the heart and the access that we give to the Holy Spirit to transform maybe not our situations, but us in our situations.
Endorsed by Bob Goff, the best-selling New York Times author, and also Alan Lisa Robertson, also kind words about it's okay finding peace in unexpected places. My daughter, Grace Cacciatore, so proud of you, so excited for you.
Well, and how do we get the book? What do we do? Sign me up.
Well, it's available on Amazon now. You can also reach out to me directly. I, of course, have copies if people have specific requests for signing or if it's a gift or something like that. But also we'll have a launch party coming up very soon, so we're really excited about that. If people want the full release details, they can follow me on social media at Grace_Catch, K-H-A-C-H, and there we're going to do a full release of all the excitement. We have lots of events coming up, so I'm very excited to share, but we'll do a full release on there.
And you'll come back and sit in for an hour or so sometime, huh?
Sure. I don't know if I think people would get bored.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Not much improvement in inflation last month. The consumer price index rose 0.4% in February. As expected, core inflation, excluding food and energy, also rose 0.4%. On an annual basis, the consumer price index rose 3.2%, stronger than forecast and up from January. Core inflation on an annual basis rose 3.8%, which is an improvement from 3.9% in January, but economists were forecasting inflation retreating to 3.7%. Small business owners say they are still seeing high prices for services. The National Federation of Independent Business Optimism Index declined last month. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Coselda. Invested in you.
I'm Dana Perino, and this is Perino on Politics.
Dana Perino, co-host of The Five and co-anchor of America's Newsroom, returns to Fox News Audio with a brand new podcast, Perino on Politics. Listeners of Everything Will Be Okay will be thrilled by the return of a familiar voice, but with a fresh spin as Dana guides audiences through the 2024 election cycle. Make sure you subscribe to this series wherever you download podcasts and leave a rating and review.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign-Urbana vicinity. The spring-like feel continuing on for the next 2 or 3 changes ahead with the cool-off for the front part of the weekend. Colder weather, would you believe, for early next week. Back to more seasonal levels, up near 70 today. Another unseasonably mild day's worth of weather with sunshine and a stiff south-southwesterly wind. A couple of showers breaking out tonight, more so after midnight, low near 50. Tomorrow, partly sunny, windy, and seasonally mild, up to about 69 to 70, with again a shower thunderstorm in spots, spotty at best, early and late. Showers, thunderstorms, and the increase later tomorrow night and into Thursday, but dry periods as well. 55 tomorrow night, the high about 68 on Thursday. A couple of showers around early, more so late in the day on Friday with a high near 58. A little more rain late Saturday, 57. Maybe a snow shower to the north here Sunday morning and a sprinkle in the afternoon, the high near 50. Rolling in the 40s for high temperatures. Nights falling back into the 20s for Monday and Tuesday of next week. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
Are you ready? A free trip to the most lavish resort out of this world. The most spectacular landscapes and majestic views ever imagined. Where all human pains, afflictions, worries, concerns, they'll all be gone for eternity. You're right, it will be heaven. Well, it is very simple. Start your journey today. The Lord opens His welcoming arms to greet you. And this week, visit His house. Attend church services of your choice. We have found the Lord at Muhammad Christian Church. Listen to the words. Jesus will guide you as to where you need to be. And for our friends in nursing homes or assisted living, please attend your weekly prayer services. It is that simple. Start your journey today. The Lord will put His arm around you and give you comfort. Take away all your problems, anxieties, and pains for eternity. Are you ready? The Lord has been expecting you.
Are you tired of shivering in the winter? Look no further than your local heroes at ABC Heating and Air Conditioning. Hi, this is Gina inviting you to give us a call at 217-352-5400 to book your appointment to make sure your furnaces run safely and efficiently this winter. We've been proudly locally owned and operated and have been serving our community for over 50 years. ABC, always be comfortable. Call me 217-352-5400 to book your appointment today or go to abcheatingandac.com.
Tavin's Towing reminds all Illini fans, when you're on the road and see lights flashing, move over and use caution passing. Let's all get home safe tonight.
Thursdays we do Did You Know with my son Nathaniel. I call him Nathaniel's son just to make sure you know who he is. He's in Chicago. Nathaniel's son, how are you?
Oh, I'm well. Guys, how are you?
We're good.
Happy Easter to you.
Mm-hmm.
Happy early Easter. And funny you should mention that, Dad, because that is the subject of our discussion this morning.
Awesome. And by the way, I never know what he's going to say. I have no idea. Okay. He's in full control of content.
I know, and that really worked to my benefit last week.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
For this week, we're going to talk a little history and facts of Easter. We won't get too far into the week because there is a lot on this topic. But one thing that is probably noticeable to most people is the date of Easter never seems to be the same. It's always sometime, late March, early April. And the reason for this is, after a little research, is because in 325 AD, the Nicene Council met. This was a council of early Christian believers. They determined that Easter was to be celebrated after the first full moon following the spring equinox. So what does that mean? So the spring equinox is when it officially changes from winter to spring. And then, depending on where the lunar calendar lines up with that, Easter is celebrated the Sunday after the full moon after that. So that's why it changes so much, because not the lunar calendar and our date calendar of dates doesn't always line up. The equinox is always the same, but the full moon is not.
Well, we just had a full moon last night, so it was called the pink moon. It was pretty cool.
Well, this is the transition season. Back in the, so this happens in February or something, right? Or is it say it again. It's the first
full moon after spring equinox.
Yeah, so the spring equinox is technically the first day of the spring. That's always March 21st, or maybe on a leap year it's different. But then for a full moon after that, it's the Sunday following the full moon after the equinox. So it's always after March 21st and usually within the next 4 weeks, because that's the longest lunar cycle.
But they said it like, I think we already know 2024 when Easter is. They can set it just...
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so I think that's based on predictions of the lunar calendar.
So this is 325 you said, though. This is 325 is a long time ago.
Right, yeah. So almost 1,800 years ago.
Oh, right.
1,700 years ago. Additionally, an interesting fact, where did Easter eggs come from? How did that become a tradition? Well, that's because in the 13th century, during the fasting of Lent, the church, actually during Holy Week, which is the week right before Easter, the church said you can't have eggs. I'm not sure why they said that, but eggs were prohibited. Now, in the 13th century, you might think, okay, there weren't many grocery stores, so people still relied on food from livestock, and chickens still lay eggs during Holy Week.
Right.
So people had to find something to do with the eggs, so they got labeled as Holy Week eggs.
People
started decorating the eggs, and that's how we get the tradition of decorating Easter eggs.
So when they had an Easter egg hunt, what'd they do with it? Because they didn't probably know how to hard boil them, right?
I read a little on that. That was pretty interesting. It looked like that started as some kind of more of a competition rather than finding eggs that are plastic with stuff in them.
Yeah. We probably know Easter bunnies and chocolate and stuff. Interesting. Yep. Nathaniel's son, well done. Well done.
Yeah.
Good information.
Hopefully it helps us be more informed for celebrating this weekend and also knowing when it's going to happen in the future.
Appreciate you, bud. Good work. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
We will. Can't wait. Nathaniel's son in Chicago. He and his lovely bride, Allison, are spending Easter with us.
Sounds good.
Excited.
And a lot of this content from Did You Know coming up during our dinner conversation. So
yeah, it's just interesting. All based on the equinox and the moon. And
right.
I don't think I knew that.
And the Easter eggs going without.
During challenging times, family and health come first.
This is Eric Boland with Provident Financial Group. Many of us have spent the past year feeling a little bit out of control. There are steps you can take to help plan for a better financial future. Now's the time to take action and create a financial plan that's right for you. Contact us today at 217-366-3456 or find us online at providentfinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network, member FINRA, SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
PDR Automotive has now been serving the Champaign-Urbana area for over 50 years. To give you some perspective, 50 years ago ended the U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War, and it was when Secretariat won the Triple Crown. So what does that mean for you and your vehicle? Whether you need a carburetor overhauled or your new vehicle computer system diagnosed or programmed, PDR Automotive has the experienced, knowledgeable staff that can handle all your automotive needs. Online at pdrauto.com. They are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR. We're talking to Nate Evans of the Nate Evans Group, and we're talking about the current market. What about interest rates? What are you guys seeing on what these numbers are going to do?
Interest rates are a hot topic right now. Interest rates are all over the place. I think they feel super high at the moment, and maybe historically we keep getting told and it's shoved down our throats that it's not. But I think to the real person, we've been used to 5%, maybe even as high as 6%, but maybe a lot of 4s over the last 10 or 15 years. So that's our normal. The Fed announced that they aren't going to raise.
I'm Neil Cavuto,
and that they'd probably at least do 3 reductions over the year 2024. If we can find some 5s, I think there's some calmness to this storm finally.
So call the only agent I would call if I needed to sell my home. It's Nate Evans with eXp Realty, 217-239-7113, or do an online search to Nate Evans Group to start packing.
Sell your home with Nate. Pick the price, pick the day. Go to thenateevansgroup.com.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. Inflation's ticked up a bit. Consumer prices up 0.4% last month, up 3.2% over the last year.
Energy jumping 2.3% month to month. Gasoline up 3.8% month to month. Housing 0.4%.
Cheryl Cassoni with Fox Business. Transcripts are released of former President Biden's interview with a special counsel investigating his mishandling of classified documents, and there's a House Judiciary Committee hearing about it this morning.
Republicans are expected to grill former special counsel Robert Hur about what he learned of President Biden's age, his abilities, and his memory. Hur's report, which came out a month ago, had generated considerable pushback from the White House after the White House claimed that Hur was operating as a political instigator as opposed to an investigator.
Fox's Mark Meredith. Hur says he stands by his assessment as accurate and fair. The president in his interview says repeatedly he never meant to retain classified documents. America's listening to Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. 2 candidates will seek the Republican nomination in the 13th Congressional District. Representatives Thomas Clatterbuck and Joshua Lloyd looking to face incumbent Democratic Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski in November. Clatterbuck's constituency in the Champaign area, while Lloyd represents Verdon. The district leans Democratic and covers much of the Metro East to Springfield plus Urbana-Champaign. Public meeting set to take place to review the Champaign Postal Service processing plant tonight. Postal Service doing a review of the processing and distribution center of the city's northwest side. They're considering transferring some assigned operations to other offices, which include simplifying process as well as standardized layouts. Investigators looking into a series of trailer fires in Rantoul the past month. They said 3 people may be involved in setting the fires and are asking for help through Crime Stoppers to identify the suspects. Rantoul Police and Office of the State Fire Marshal have been investigating 3 fires on Mahoning Lane. You're up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign-Urbana vicinity. The spring-like feel continuing on for the next 2 or 3 changes ahead with the cool-off for the front part of the weekend. Colder weather, would you believe, for early next week. Back to more seasonal levels, up near 70 today. Another unseasonably mild day's worth of weather with sunshine and a stiff south-southwesterly wind. A couple of showers breaking out tonight, more so after midnight, low near 50. Tomorrow, partly sunny, windy, and seasonally mild, up to about 69 to 70, with again a shower thunderstorm in spots, spotty at best, early and late. Showers, thunderstorms, and the increase later tomorrow night and into Thursday, but dry periods as well. 55 tomorrow night, the high about 68 on Thursday. A couple of showers around early, more so late in the day on Friday with a high near 58. A little more rain late Saturday, 57. Maybe a snow shower to the north here Sunday morning and a sprinkle in the afternoon, the high near 50. Rolling the 40s for high temperatures. Nights falling back into the 20s for Monday and Tuesday of next week. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
Coach Mike Ditka, he's in Chicago. Coach, how are you?
I'm good. Everything's great.
All right, well, we're looking forward to the Desire Street Ministries golf outing in Florida. Johnny, it looks like you're going to have to carry the ball club.
Well, I think I've got you guys covered. I've been thinking about it. You know, we talked about visualization and Jim Thorpe, and I've got it, Steve.
Coach, Johnny's bringing Calamity Jane. That's all we need. His Bobby Jones putter. I think it all comes down to putting in this game anyway.
Yeah, well, I have a visualization too, but I think it's going to be a lot of people laughing at me. But that's okay.
You know what, Johnny? Hey, Coach, let me just tell you a quick golf story. We were playing in the Fellowship of Christian Athletes golf outing, and we were playing a scramble. And Johnny teed off, and it went 20 yards left into a bush, okay? So, everybody else tees off. Then Johnny and I get in the cart to go get Johnny's ball, and behind the bush were 4 men looking at us picking it up 20 yards from the tee. And Johnny's quick reaction was, "That's okay, Steve. Better luck next time." And it was he's the guy that hit it, Mike.
I was just kidding.
I mean, come on. I didn't hit that shot. I mean,
listen, I may go out and hit some balls today just to warm up for you guys.
Well, I probably should do the same thing, but Johnny's got me sold on the visualization.
At this point, I think we let the force be with us.
Yeah, might not be able to do much. All right, we want to start this program with what I think is an enormously compelling video that appeared on YouTube of 4 African-American gentlemen in Chicago that are really upset about what's happened in their life when it comes to representation and how they've been represented or not represented. And they're speaking out about it. And it's so compelling, so riveting. I wanted to play the whole darn thing. It's 4 minutes long, but I wanted you guys to hear it, and then I want to talk about it. Here you go, rebelpundit.com. There were 2,000 views when I saw it 2 days ago. There are now nearly 700,000 views on YouTube for this video.
Black folks is in an abusive black leadership relationship.
We have to send a message. This is the time for us to send a message.
We always talking about what the Republicans ain't done for us or what they will do to hurt us. My life has been hurt by Democrats.
And we got in our mind that we always got to keep voting Democrat. You know, look and see in your community, who are the real oppressors in our community? Everywhere you go, there's poverty in black areas.
This is where I stand at right now. Ida B. Wells, public housing residents to live at. Most of the people are homeless, living in the street. And it's because of you, Mr. President.
In Detroit, where your leaders at? There's no white folks running Detroit, cutting water on black folks in Detroit. Them black folks running that city. Ain't no white folks doing that. Them black folks going along with that. Everything's happening in our community is black leadership doing this.
Our children know that if the Democrats have not done anything for us as of yet, why should they even go out and vote? What agenda is on the table that's going to change their life?
The only thing they're offering the black community is abortion on demand. This is what the president asking for us to vote for.
Now he wants to have this conversation about minimum wage raise because he knows that this is the way to get a lot of the poor people's attention. But to hell with his minimum wage raise. We don't have any jobs. A minimum wage raise for what?
They're not pushing a black agenda. They're not pushing a family agenda. They're pushing a neoliberal agenda.
Across this city, in these major democratic cities, this is what it looks like.
How can the same process happen over and over again and nobody got nothing, can't do nothing about it? Black leadership is abusing us. The Democratic Party is abusing us. It's the same way in every black community across the country.
And they force us into a life of welfare. We don't want no welfare. We want opportunities to go to work. We want opportunities to own business. They bailed out all of the major banks and these big investors, but left the people starving.
There are no Tea Parties in your city.
We don't have those people. We have a major democratic machine, and the majority of them, they look like me. These are the people who make sure we get nothing, but then turn around and have us to vote for them again.
They only come around when it's time for elections. When they think they can give you a toy or give you a turkey or something, and everything is good.
hundreds of millions of dollars are coming down from the federal government. But the money is going to all these special interest groups. My brother's keeper went to his friends. This whole corrupt democratic system that gobbles up all the dollars and starves the people out. Can you all look around your community and see any change that have come about with these hundreds of billions of dollars that have come through our cities? No, you cannot. What we do see is our elected officials riding around in new cars, and they have new homes.
When our people don't have jobs in our communities, when we don't have any vital resources, when all the deals been cut, and all our people are left out, this is where we end up. And we got a most important thing that we can stop all this. Everybody got to vote. And if you use your vote wisely, you can stop a lot of this stuff.
RebelPundit.com, a compelling, riveting, honest. Is it a tipping point at all? Johnny, what's your take on all this?
Well, I think that's extremely interesting because I've thought, of course, in living in New Orleans, have seen exactly what these guys are talking about. Danny Warfel has been working desire treatment in areas where the results of policy of decades of kind of entitlement that doesn't work, and that the people getting it, Mike, a lot of times don't even want it. And one reason it stays the same, Steve, is because they're voting Democrat, as those fellows pointed out, and that's a 95% block of votes. That right now is the epicenter of Democratic power. Without that, they wouldn't have a whole lot of stroke, and they wouldn't win a whole lot of elections, Mike, throughout this country without that 95% vote. And these guys have figured out that they're not only not getting anything for it, but the incentive is to leave everything just like it is. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's so true. I mean, there are a lot of people, no matter what their color is, who seem to enjoy entitlement, but there are many, many more who just want an opportunity, and that opportunity is to work and be able to make a living for their family. And I think that's the thing we got to keep in. You know, we say, well, because you're a color, this color, that color, you're prejudiced against. I don't believe all that stuff. I really don't.
Well, they said we don't want welfare. We want opportunities. We want to work.
Hey, that's what it is. Opportunity.
And you got to be fair, because 20 years ago I was running and for a race in Louisiana, and what I saw was a complete lack of interest on the part of the Republicans to take that message so those guys can build a base in their communities about an alternative. Complete disregard, complete capitulation of that vote by the Republicans, which is the only way the Democrats could have taken advantage. So it's a two-way street and a two-sided coin, and I see that changing a little, Steve. I see the Republicans realizing, we have to go tell them what our message is, and the Democrats and especially those folks in some of these areas are ready to hear it and ready to help build some representation.
Do you think, guys, that at some point the country will reach a tipping point? I mean, I'm not satisfied with either party. I think a lot of people are not. Will there ever be a chance to say, listen, enough of this bad system that you guys are all getting rich on, represent the people, do what's right for America, and stop all of this?
It's going to be hard right now because the people that we have representing us in the Senate and the House and the White House are... I don't know. I think people go there with the right intent, but once they get there, they don't do a damn thing. They just jump on board and they go with the status quo or whatever their party tells them to do. They do, and I disagree with that. I think sometimes you have to stand up. You're going to take some shots, but even if you're Republican, you got to stand up and say, "Hey, this stuff is wrong. Let's get rid of this stuff. Let's stop."
Hey, I'll tell you too, Stevie, what the Republicans and the Democrats, what I've seen when we have a very good man in office, they tend to throw up their arms and quit and walk away. Like you have an Evan Bayh and you have a Meacham in Virginia, and they're like, I can't do anything here. And both sides of the aisle, when you get a really good man, so that leaves a few good men standing, and a lot of people kind of looks like they're out for themselves, and you can't attract anybody because you can't hardly get in because it's kind of a career, I wouldn't say a rigged game, but it's a career choice. And so the idea of representation, then going back and living it, is kind of a theory that hasn't been implemented.
Yeah.
And that's why I've always pushed term limits as at least a step in the right direction where, and you'll have just as much chaos, but it won't be as corrupt, I don't think. And I think most people then will be looking out for America instead of themselves.
Well, you know what? There was a term limit measure that they got signatures for, and those in power in Illinois said, now those are fake. And they threw it out. They just do it.
Well, yeah. That's typical of the states that when you don't have a petition state that can force an issue on the ballot like California, then it's very difficult to get the guys to vote themselves out. We actually did it here in Louisiana, and I think it's been a huge improvement for this state. We're moving from the bottom 5 to the top 5 in about 50 categories.
Yeah.
And that was in 2008. It was over. You can go 2 terms in a row, Mike, and that's it.
Well, and it was Johnny that really instigated that push, but it was in the 90s. It's taken a while to implement, and look what's happened. You guys amazingly have a better state than Illinois, and Louisiana was always the laughingstock.
I got to tell you, Mike, the legislature actually voted term limits on themselves, and some of them have been there 30 years, but when they voted for it, they gave themselves another 12 years to wind down.
Well, that's not surprising. It's Brother Johnny, Mike Ditka. It's ESPN 93.5 and Sunny 95.3. And lastly, about that clip I just played of the African Americans, talk about compelling and passionate. Boy, they had it, didn't they, Johnny?
Well, they sure did, and they were smart guys. You know, Mike, those are pretty good insights, really, because no one else is explaining the 2 options that are available in the philosophy of opportunity and a chance to create your own destiny, which is kind of the Republican side, and then the Democrats. And you'd argue there's a lot of Democrats that would say we give opportunity too, but there's a lot of entitlement and programs that kind of tend to mire people down, and those are the 2 arguments. And of course, these guys figured this out on their own, and I think that's amazing. And 700,000 viewers is amazing.
Yeah,
that people are picking up on that.
Not enough. They need a lot more than that, but that's pretty good.
I sure haven't seen it on CBS, ABC, NBC.
Oh, no, you're not going to see that. No, come on.
Not going to see it there. And then other news that I think is really big news potentially for the Chicago Cubs. Joe Madden is certainly one of the best managers in baseball. He exercised his option, left Tampa Bay, and is supposed to be the new Cub manager. Joe Madden is the real deal. Uh-oh, here come the Cubbies, Mike.
Now we go.
Stop it, guys. I haven't seen Mr. Madden
Relay
hit
0,
a field yet.
FN Local, Drop Network, Relay 3,
that was what got me, Coach, what they were talking about. It's amazing. The Royals haven't won since 1984. I'm like, well that's pretty recent.
That's not so bad.
I mean,
1908.
1908. Mike, 1908. You think you'd get lucky once?
I think, at that point, somewhere in the organization, you got to look at your blueprint and say, wow, we're doing something wrong here, guys. What is it? Let's figure this out. We got some wrong people in the wrong places.
I think Theodore Roosevelt was president. That's a rough rider.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
come on, man. It's unbelievable.
Oh, boy.
All right,
we're coming.
Well, all right. So golf in Florida. Now here's the big decision. As just a member of your ball club, Johnny. Here's what I need to ask you. Do I stay with the Jim Thorpe visualization, or do I go hit balls today, or do I waste the shots?
Now Mike might want to. You just stay at the visualization, Steve. You're going to get hurt. You're all right. Think about it. Think.
Well, here's the main thing. Do you really care? We're going to have fun, and we're going to hit the ball, we're going to laugh, and that's about it.
Yeah, okay, all right. So that's right. And if Johnny brings Calamity Jane the putter, we're good.
Yeah. Well, we'll try it.
We're good.
We have our moments. But,
hey, listen, you played Augusta with that putter, and didn't almost everything go in?
It was really kind of eerie, but yeah, I just.
Mike, he shot a 39 on the front at Augusta.
Well, that's really good. That's unbelievable, actually. That's
great. Unbelievable.
Well, he said his Bobby Jones putter, Calamity Jane, everything was going in. I mean,
I think maybe it came from a root of a tree out there.
Absolutely.
Well, it'll be a pleasure being with you guys and helping Danny Warfel's ministry, Desire Street Ministries. It is the Desire Cup. We're not favored to win it, but who knows?
No, I think there's all kinds of things that can happen in sports. And,
Hey, Coach,
things that won't happen.
Coach, are you bringing a cigar for Johnny? That's the question.
Oh yeah, if I remember, I'll put a box in my bag, and yeah, that's what I.
All right, early wheels up, 5 a.m. We'll be there, Coach, and we'll look forward to hanging with you tomorrow. Johnny, always a pleasure. Thanks, guys.
All right,
thank you, TJ. Thanks, Mike.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Brother Johnny and Mike Ditka, ESPN 93.5.
Kind of doing a best of show today. I'm Diane Ducey. 8:49, a best of interview from our athletic director, Josh Whitman, from May of 2022 now.
We're very happy to welcome the athletic director of the University of Illinois. His name is Josh Whitman. Well, I'm looking at your report card, son. You're doing well, my friend.
Good morning, Stevie. How are you?
I'm fine. I'd like to officially offer you your dream job. You are now going to be sales manager for Stevie Jay Broadcasting.
Yes!
I'm so excited. I'm so happy.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
I mean, come on, man. Shauna Green's going to the NCAA women's tournaments, and she's winning 900 games, and you got her to come to Illinois, which has not been very good for women's basketball. You're really good at this, Josh.
Well, we've got a great team, Stevie. We've got a great team here, and we got a great university, and we've got a great community, and so I can't take any of the credit for any of those things. And it's just it's a wonderful place to be, as you well know, and have a lot of pride in being able to represent this entire community and this athletic program every day.
Spring game tonight. I realize Stevie J has zero credibility when I think we're going to play Nick Saban every year, so I have no credibility, but I think we're going to a bowl game from now on. Yeah. I think Brett Bielema knows what he's doing. I think it was an amazing hire. I think he's really, really good at this. Obviously, you're rooting for all this to happen. What are you seeing that encourages you about Illinois football?
It does. It starts at the top with Brett and his vision. I'm beyond impressed with the staff that he's assembled, the vision that he's brought to the program. I'm really been taken with two things in particular about him. Number one is his work ethic. I've been around football my whole life, and I've never seen anybody work the way that he does, especially in the head coaching chair. And then number two is just his ability to connect and teach the student athletes on the team. I saw that from the very first team meeting when we introduced him to the group, and from the first spring practice a year ago, it was evident that he has a level of detail and not only an ability to understand it himself, but to convey it and get his players to understand it. And that's half the battle. And so it's really been a pleasure to work with him. And I share certainly your optimism for the future of the football program and looking forward to tonight and using it as a springboard into the fall.
Yeah, but why hasn't Illinois been able to do, like, every year we win 6? No coach has ever done that, Josh. I don't get it.
Well, it's I think that's the trick now. Is Brett and I, from our very first conversation, have talked about sustained success, and we are a little bit unique in the sense that we have demonstrated multiple times that we can get to the top of the mountain in a variety of ways. We've been to BCS bowl games, we've been to the Sugar Bowl, we've won the Big Ten, we've been to the Rose Bowl, all in the last 20 years. But we have these kind of roller coaster rides where we take some pretty sharp dips down, and we need to be sure that as we build this one, that the foundation is solid, and that we're able to sustain that level of success as we go forward. And that's certainly been a focus for Brad and for me as we've worked through this together and been very intentional in the plan that we put together.
I was happy for Kofi, but I was sad for me because I'm really going to... Josh, that was the end of an era. That was special. That was fun.
It was a lot of fun. And Kofi's a remarkable young man, and we will always treasure him and the time that he spent with us. And obviously, between him and Io and so many others who had a hand in what's happened here the last 3 years. But he's been just an incredible ambassador for Illinois basketball. He's helped reestablish our program as a national brand. And I think that as we here at some point soon raise that jersey into the rafters, it'll give our fans a chance to properly acknowledge him and thank him for all of his hard work and the things that he has done to really put Illinois basketball back on the map. And that's something that we'll always remember from him. And on a personal level, he's just I have such tremendous affection for him, and we've shared some really powerful moments, and just couldn't be prouder of him, and looking forward to what this next chapter for him looks like.
Josh Whitman on the Dick Van Dyke Appliance World phone line. So how do you deal with transfer portal? What's your involvement? It's a swinging gate, man. How do we even know who's on my team next year?
It's a challenge. There's no question. And I think that at the end of the day, you try and create compelling opportunities for young men and women to come here and change their lives through participation in sport, through a world-class education, and but you also understand that in today's day and age, sometimes people aren't going to feel like this is the best fit for them. They're going to look elsewhere, and it works both ways. We have a chance as they leave to look for some other people to come in and fill those same seats, and it creates a new dynamic. There's no question about it, and I'll be curious to see over the next several years if it continues to stay this way for two reasons. One, I think right now it's kind of a shiny new toy, and I think there's a lot of appeal amongst our student athletes to try the transfer portal out. But I think over time it'll start to normalize a bit. I think people will realize that the transfer portal maybe isn't the panacea that they've made it out to be. And then secondly, I think the NCAA or our governing bodies will potentially get involved at some point and try and moderate it in some way. I think that the player movement and flexibility is a positive thing, but I do think that it certainly has created a tremendous amount of instability in our system, and I think sometimes we're not fulfilling our role as educators in terms of teaching student athletes how to confront adversity, how to work through difficult situations. And there are situations where a transfer is appropriate and best maybe for all parties involved, but I think we can do a better job of helping them understand when those moments come and championing them when it's appropriate for them to find a new home.
This whole NIL thing. I mean, Josh, you and I could have made bank on that in 1999. You were a great tight end. Come on, man.
There you go.
The changes with the NIL and all of that, to me, it feels like free agency. It's, you have all these things, you got to do X, Y, Z and all that stuff and start this thing. And as an athletic director, what do you tell people when they come up to you inevitably and says, how much do we have to keep Kofi? I mean, that's just bar talk. But how do you answer it officially?
I think officially, name, image, likeness is probably overdue. I think the opportunity for any person to commercially benefit from the use of their celebrity is a reasonable thing. It's something that happens for a lot of us. Happens for you. It happens for me. And so for us to open that gate and allow our student athletes to do something similar makes a lot of sense. I think that there have been some unintended, but in some corners at least anticipated consequences to it. It's a little bit like the transfer portal. I think that the theory of it is good. I think that in many cases the application of it is good. I think that there are some exceptions where the theory and the application get a little messy, and we need to continue to try and find ways to clean that up. I do think that there needs to be some level of national standard. I think that whether that comes through a governing body like the NCAA or whether that comes through the federal government, I don't know. I think that, but right now what we have is pretty untenable. Just knowing that all the different state laws that are in place, all the different institutional policies, the different approaches that various conferences are taking, it's created a really difficult environment for all the athletic programs. And so I'm hopeful that, like anything else, it's new, and as is the transfer portal, and I think that we're working through that evolution. We're learning and testing some of the boundaries. We're understanding kind of where this will ultimately fit in the landscape of college sports. And, a lot of the things that you brought up are things that we spend all day, every day thinking about. It's really an unprecedented time in college athletics. There are just so many macro level changes to the landscape that are all coming to bear at the same moment, and so it's created what feels like a very unstable situation. In some ways, it is unstable, but I think that people can take confidence in the fact that, number one, college athletics will continue to be an important part of our community, our society for generations to come, and number two, it may look a little bit different, but we'll work through some of those changes here. We've got great people, smart people, working on these issues, trying to reimagine what this next sort of college athletics 2.0 is going to look like.